Welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about emotional permanence. If you struggle with abandonment wounds, watch this video. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please click the little subscribe button, the bell to receive notifications when I release new videos. And if you've been with me for a while, thank you so much and welcome back. That was little Saint. He likes to say hi once in a while and he loves the kisses nonstop. So he might be back up here in a minute. Whenever I put him in here when I'm videotaping, he has to be part of the video. So let's dive in. Speaking of emotional permanence, he is the most permanent emotional experience ever. So if you have issues with this, please get a dog. But in seriousness, if you struggle with abandonment wounds, chances are you also struggle with emotional permanence. What that means is when someone leaves, you don't really know if their feelings are permanent. Let's talk this through, because when I first heard this term, I was like, someone gets me. I'm not crazy, right? We all say that until we get validated in these ways, but emotional permanence is something that should be anchored in childhood. It should be from everything I always talk about, a consistent emotional connection from a parent, a consistent caretaker, or a consistent environment. Many people have this when they've moved a lot as a kid. Many people have this when there's divorce. Many people have this with narcissistic parents or siblings. Many people have this when there just wasn't consistency because of an alcoholic parent. Whatever the reason is, emotionally immature parents, you didn't have an emotional, consistent experience. In my emotional rehab course, I talk all the time about the emotional imprint, the emotional mirroring, right? And what we have to understand is emotional mirroring is what we need to anchor in self and feel consistent, feel a real secure identity. So imagine when you've had any type of abandonment in childhood, you grow up still having that wound. Unless you heal it, it doesn't heal in the head. It has to heal from the experience, right? Experiential learning. So we can understand it, but unless we put these tools into practice, we're not going to really feel it. So emotional permanence is, again, in a relationship, when you're feeling abandonment wounds in this relationship, it is because you're connected, you're close, you're great, you get in a fight, they're ghosting you. You literally don't remember. This is a true story. You don't remember that they truly love you. You don't remember that they are still connected to you, even though they're angry, even though they've left. They don't even have to ghost you. If you have this wound, it's like you haven't heard from them in a minute, or they left the room angry saying we're breaking up. This emotional permanence will be triggered. You will be like, oh my gosh, they don't love me. You go into all those fears and voids of abandonment. And this is when we're in relationships and we need constant knowledge that they love me. I need affirmations. I need to know. I need the texting, right? We blame ourselves for needing that, but we actually do need that when we've suffered from abandonment wounds, because we need to just constantly know. And a great partner who understands this will be so excited to let you know, hey, baby, checking in. Conscious communication is key to really implement emotional permanence, to really know, okay, I've had enough time with this person, also constantly validating that they love me, that I know now if we get in a fight, the love is still there. They're not going to disconnect. They're not going to threaten that. But we need that. So don't feel guilty or weird or wrong or wounded for needing it. The point is, when you have abandonment wounds and you're trying to gain emotional permanence, you need someone to be consistent. However, to be honest with you, healthy relationships want to be consistent. Healthy relationships aren't game playing. Healthy relationships don't come to you and say, well, you shouldn't need that. Whoa. A lot of us who are still working on things might be like, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. No, it's not what's wrong with you. It's what's happened to you. And now you actually need consistency from your partner. If your partner is neglecting consistency, check out if that's the right partner. But to gain this emotional permanence where you have a fight and you don't always feel like, oh my God, we're breaking up, or they leave and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how they feel about me. I need to go for that thing that's going to fill this pain, right? When you start to have consistency, you start to realize that, oh, we're in a fight, but we have a baseline. We have an emotional connection, regardless of them being gone or mad or out of town. I have a friend that used to have panic attacks when her husband would leave town. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, I think I know what that is. And then she explained her abandonment wounds from her father when she was a child. And I said, yeah, you're married You know that guy's got to go through a lot to get rid of you, right? But he's out of town and she's feeling this. So it's not that there's something wrong with you. It's that she's out of town feeling his distance and it's triggering the emotional permanence, right? So the way we stop getting that triggered in these situations is talking to your partner and saying, I need to know when you get to the airport. I need to know when you get to the hotel. I need to know that you're checking in and thinking about me throughout the day. That's not wrong, guys. That's part of having a partner that wants to help you heal. That's part of you knowing that this isn't my fault, but I have this. I went through this when I was younger, where I'd be like, oh gosh, they're mad at me. Are they leaving me? Right? Oh gosh, I didn't hear from that friend. Did I do something wrong? You know what I'm saying? Oh gosh, maybe that person doesn't like me because we do that when we have issues with abandonment, which creates emotional permanence issues. So the way I totally healed that with friendships is I would literally say to my friends, this was probably like 12 years ago when I healed this. It wasn't that long ago. I would say to my friends, hey, are you mad at me? Now, that's ridiculous, right? Especially if you know your friend loves you. But my friends at the time, who were my friends and still are my friends, would say, why would you think that? That's silly. And I'd say, okay, thank you for that. But because I had this issue, I tend to think that people hate me when they're upset or hate me when I don't hear from them or whatever. And really what helped me in my friendships was having conscious friends who were like, oh, I totally get it. It's that abandonment thing. I have it too. Or it makes sense. Yeah, definitely not. Or, oh, we know Candace. We know that she probably has this worry. So let's check in. It's just that. And it was so great for me to go through that with girlfriends because I realized so much of the story I told myself was so untrue. And what that brought me into is understanding that my original abandonment wounds had nothing to do with me either. But it took me a while to really figure that out and believe that because for so long as a child, I was like, well, they left because of me. They hate me because of me, right? Or whatever it was, even if it was perceived. Nowadays in my relationship, I'm very vocal about saying, well, that still makes me feel this way. It's not your fault that it makes me feel this way. Would it be great if you could do this instead? I remember telling my partner that one day. I was like, yeah, but if you could just say this, I'd be like, fine. And he was like, that's so simple though. And I was like, I know, it's very simple. But if you just say it, I think the example was, he was mad at me or something was going on. And I said, oh no, he wasn't mad at me. And I thought he was mad at me because I could feel the emotional disconnect. And so I was all like weirded out. And he came back and he's like, honey, I just needed space because I went through this and I had to like work it out in my head. I go, oh, cool. Next time, can you come and say, it's not personal, totally love you, but need some space to think this out? He's like, are you serious? Like, that's so simple. And I was like, yeah, I'm serious. Because when I feel that disconnect, I often still wonder to this day, is it me? And so the whole thing about healing is understanding that you still may have those triggers, but you don't believe them. So you check them out. I'll go, hey, I know you're disconnecting. Is it me? Did something happen? And it's not like, oh, you're too sensitive. It's that you're so sensitive to these emotional impermanences that you got to check it out so that you can be like, oh, I'm right. That happened for years until I was really like, okay, I know I'm good, right? So check yourself and see, do I have emotional impermanence? Is that the issue here? Is the issue that my abandonment is being triggered because I feel them leaving, even though it may not be personal? It may not be them leaving me. They may just have their own shit going on. They may just have a bad day. They may just literally not have phone service. But when we have abandonment wounds, we have to joke with ourselves and say, oh my gosh, they're leaving me forever. When we get real about it and we stop judging ourselves, we stop needing it to be any different, I can have fun with it sometimes. I love that the majority of my friends are very conscious and they get this shit too, and they actually have a lot of the same stuff. So one of my friends one day reached out to me. It was like over Christmas, and I was so busy with the family. And she's like, I'm really upset with you because you didn't wish me a Merry Christmas. This is the kind of friends I love. And I was like, you know what? That sucks. You're right. I didn't even have my phone though for 2 days. I was off the grid. And how was your Christmas? And immediately there's repair and there's a reminder that we have real awesome friends out there. The reason I love my friends that are so conscious too is because you can be your wounded self. You can be your insecure self. You can be your I'm not so sure today self. You can be your I feel abandoned self and show up as you are and be loved anyway. This really starts to heal this for us, you guys. Showing up as your true self, asking questions, not making yourself wrong to need the question answered, not making yourself wrong for not knowing if they love you or not sometimes, but knowing that you went through something and that's going to create this. And as you start to heal and you start to understand what it is, just knowing what it is, emotional permanence can be half the issue. I'm telling you, when I learned about emotional permanence, I was like, oh, that's what's being triggered. He loves me, whatever. But until you really understand this definition and you really see where it comes from in your abandonment wound, you're going to question it. So check this out, try it out. Also, you guys, don't forget, I always mention this, but please check out the offerings we have this month in January. It is the last time I'm doing live I Am Worthy. So if you haven't already signed up, if you haven't done the class, it is on demand as well, but the live class is like no other. So if you haven't, you want to check it out, please do. If you feel like this video has helped you, please share with one person. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.